right, let's move on to ceremonial presentations. And first up will be Councilmember Carbasi. You have a proclamation for Shehbانو Farah Pahlavi Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Council. Thank you so much. Today I get to share with you a very special part of my heritage. As you may know, my family, we were Iranian-Americans. My father came to this country in 1967 as a scholarship recipient of what was then called the Pehlوی Foundation. It was a grant set up by the government of his homeland to help students travel abroad and get an education. And my dad's a very proud Okie because he ended up going to Oklahoma, of all places. Actually, he studied at the same school as our new police chief. So since then, in 1978, we moved here permanently, and I was born several years later, right here in Fresno. But growing up, like so many, whether you're Armenian or you're from Mexico or you're from Cambodia, we've become home in this community to so many people who, for whatever reason or another, had to leave their homeland. And I get to share a part of that history with you today. So when I was 15, I was a very curious young person who wanted to get in touch with my heritage. And I just remember as a child, I spent a lot of time in the home of my uncle, who lived in Fresno, in District 2. But all I had really was this picture that was up, it's kind of hard to see, it was up on the bookshelf, and I was a little kid, so it was really high up. And it was a picture of someone who looked like a nice guy, but I had no idea who he was. And as I grew older, I learned that this was the king of the country, who unfortunately passed away in 1980. So this is before there were websites and internet. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot out there, so I tried getting in touch with different people to learn about my history. I asked my family about it. And what I ended up doing was there was this thing called AT&T 00 Info, which sounds silly, but you call and you get the number to anybody. Well, they couldn't find the number to the queen, or to the Shehbánو. But someone finally suggested, call the State Department. And I never thought of that. Great idea. And I did that. And through about 6 months of writing letters and trying to get in touch and find somebody and just reaching out, one person took my hand, and that was the Shehbánو, who is here with us today from Paris. And if we can get her on the, I don't know if she's ready yet, but we have her with us today. I'm very, very proud because today is also her birthday. And this is a person who I was very fortunate to be able to meet at a young age, who left a great impression on me. And as I learned about her history from my family and also from what she has done, in fact, Your Majesty, good evening. Thank you for being here. This is a true humanitarian, someone who was born just like me, but had a great opportunity to serve her country. She was a great ally. In fact, I love the picture of when you came to the United States, I think it was in 1962, and got to meet President Kennedy and his wife at the state dinner. I love that photo. I can't imagine how much of our history as in America you've been able to see. But, you know, I get to be in this country now, and I'm so lucky to be an American, that I can freely celebrate my heritage and my history and stay in touch with that in a free nation. So I'd like to share with you today that history. And I'm a little bit nervous, you have to forgive me. But, you know, what I'm going to do, it's a little bit unusual. I'm actually going to read the proclamation myself because I want to share with you some of her history that is in the proclamation. And then we'll continue on with the presentation. So this is a proclamation from the city of Fresno, whereas Farah Diba was born on October 14th, 1938 in Tehran, and was the only child to father Captain Sohrab Diba and mother Farida Qutbi, whereas Farah began her education at Tehran's Italian school, then moved to the French Jeanne d'Arc school, and later moved to Lycée Razi. During her years in school, she was also an accomplished athlete, becoming captain of her school's basketball team. Farah then pursued an interest in architecture at the École Spéciale d'Architecture in Paris, forgive my French, Whereas while in Paris, Farah met the Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, for the first time in 1959, and they announced their engagement later that year on November 23rd, and were officially married on December 20th, 1959, making Farah the Queen of Iran. The married couple had 4 children: Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi of Iran, Princess Farinaz Pahlavi of Iran, Prince Ali Reza Pahlavi of Iran, and Princess Layla Pahlavi of Iran. Whereas, as Queen, Farah Pahlavi has had many accomplishments. Her Majesty the Queen facilitated an exchange of cultural artifacts between French and Iranian art galleries and museums that went on for many years. As time progressed, Her Majesty the Queen used her position to secure funding and focus attention on causes related to women's rights and cultural development. One of Her Majesty's biggest accomplishments was founding Pahlavi University in the city of Shiraz, which was the first American-style university in Iran, and it was meant to improve the education of Iranian women. On October 26, 1967, Queen Farah became the first woman in Iran's last 1,400-year history to be crowned Shahbanu and appointed by the Shah as regent with the parliament's approval, making this event a monumental step toward gender equality in the country of Iran. Whereas Her Majesty Empress Farah worked tirelessly over a variety of charitable activities relating to women's rights, healthcare, and children's development and education, while always focusing on the cultural and artistic accomplishments of aspiring Iranians. These activities included establishing healthcare in lepers villages, hospitals for cancer and burn injuries, organizations for the hearing and visually challenged, nationwide libraries for children, including mobile libraries, many museums such as the renowned Tehran Museum of Contemporary Art, the Carpet Museum, which speaks strongly to me, the Museum of Islamic and Pre-Islamic Art, the Qajar Museum, the Shiraz Art Festival, and last but not least, establishing as organization by name, the Dialogue of Civilization for the encouragement of interaction between Eastern and Western cultures. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Mayor Jerry Dyer and the Fresno City Council members do hereby acknowledge October 14th, 2021 as Shahbanu Farah Pahlavi Day in the city of Fresno. So that just gives you an example of her long career as a servant of the people, especially children and women, what she was able to accomplish. But we also have a few guests with us today who would like to speak to Her Majesty and thank her. One of them is my dad, and he muscled his way into here. Dad? Dad? Come on. Give us one moment.
The real Mike Carbasi.
The real Mike Carbasi. And the only problem is he dresses better than me, so he puts me to shame. You don't have to wear your mask, though.
Completely agree.
Let me take that off. I know you. Dad, Shahbanu is right there. If you can see.
That's it.
Okay.
Hello, Shehbano. Number one, hello. Happy birthday. The best memory I have from you, you were a new Shehbano in the country. You went to Mashhad to visit the hospital with Jazam disease, which is a contagious disease. I don't know the English name for it. And you were hugging these people, and you were not scared to get the disease. And thank you, God, you did not get it. And these people were crying from the love you are giving to them. And you always, like, even though you have the highest position in the country, you were like a regular person helping people. I hope the new generation in the country read the history and follow your rules and your work. Thank you again. I hope to stay alive and every year to say happy birthday to you. Thank you. God bless you. And I remember the visit I had with you, how you welcomed me and my son. Thank you very much. And again, have a very happy birthday.
I want to say it in Farsi. Tell them over.
ضمن خانم علاقه من خیلی خانم خوبی هستن همیشه نگهشون دارید اونجا and چیه تولدتون مبارک باشه.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dad. Thank you. The other guest we have, I'm so proud to have. Oh, Your Majesty, can we take her off mute? Okay. The audio's not working. Excuse me, Olia Hazrat, it looks like the audio is not working. While they're fixing the audio, I wanted to introduce our next speaker. I'm so proud to have her here today. It is Assemblymember Blanca Rubio. The Assemblymember represents the 48th Assembly District, and of course that includes a lot of Southern California, where a lot of Iranian Americans live. And if we can elevate her, the Assemblymember, so that she can speak. Good morning. Assemblymember, I apologize. We have to fix our volume here. That's okay. We get to hear you again. That's good.
City Clerk, I believe they can hear them on Zoom, but for some reason we can't hear them here.
Can they hear Her Majesty as well on Zoom?
On Zoom.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Attending today's meeting. I'm Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio, representing the 48th Assembly District in the California State Legislature. It is an honor to join the city of Fresno to proclaim October 14th as Shehbانو Farah Pahlavi Day. California is proud to hold 46% of the Iranian immigrant community that resides in the United States. As we identify the values they bring to our state, it is important that we recognize the accomplishments made by Iranian female leaders. In 1967, Farah Pahlavi became the first woman in Iran's last 1,400-year history to be crowned Shehbánو, a commemorative effort to improving gender equality in her country. She has become a champion for the empowerment of women's rights and improvements of cultural development throughout Iran. Shehbánو Farah Pahlavi founded the first American-style university in Iran, Pahlavi University, dedicated to improving education for Iranian women. As a former teacher myself, I was immediately impressed by her commitment to education. Thank you. Her Majesty Empress Farah is committed to preserving the rich culture of Iran by establishing numerous museums to showcase its history locally and abroad. Her Majesty Empress Farah has serviced charitable projects to improve the well-being of vulnerable Iranian men, women, families, and children. Her humanitarian work and dedication to artistic development has made an impact across international waters. It is with great pleasure we celebrate Shehbánو Farah Pahlavi's tremendous work and honor her outstanding commitment to public service. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition and happy birthday. As an immigrant, a Mexican immigrant myself, Empress, I thank you for your commitment to your community. I know that all of us here are committed to making sure that our communities prosper, and I thank you for all of your work. Have a great afternoon or a great day.
Thank you very much. If you can hear.
Yes, we can, Your Majesty.
I just wanted to thank you very much. I'm very much touched for what you said. All the best to you.
Thank you, Assemblymember. Thank you for being here. We have an audio recording from Her Majesty that we're going to play right now, and then we'll follow it up with some comments by my colleagues. If we can queue up that recording, that would be great.
The Honorable Mayor Jerry Dyer, Honorable President of the City Council Luis Chavez, Vice President Mr. Nelson Esperanza, and the distinguished council members. I am deeply touched by the honor the city of Fresno is extending to me on the occasion of my birthday. Fresno has been home to generations of migrants displaced from their homeland, when many of my compatriots found a welcoming heaven to live in freedom. They were part of a whole generation of highly skilled and enlightened Iranians who who shunned the forces of darkness back in 1980s. It is with pride that I see scion of the generation, Mike Karbasi, serving as a council member among you, just as I am proud of many other Iranian Americans in academic and liberal professions in Fresno and Greater California. Allow me to express my heartfelt thanks to the people of Fresno and its City Council for elating birthday gift that allows the Lion and Sun flag of Iran being hosted over the City Council. This would be one of the memorable days of my life away from my homeland. I wish to present to the great people of the United States of America my sense of admiration and best wishes. I hope that light will prevail over darkness and that my country, Iran, will rise from her ashes and join the family of free nations. Thank you. The Honorable Mayor, Jerry Dyer.
Okay. Thank you, Your Majesty. That was wonderful. We are going to now move towards, if any of my colleagues, the mayor or the council members would like to say any words, you are welcome. The floor is yours at this time. I think we'll start with the mayor.
Your Majesty, happy birthday. Congratulations on this memorable day. On behalf of the city of Fresno, I want to just say thank you to you for your leadership, your ongoing efforts to develop children through education, your deep commitment to healthcare, and also your continued fight for women's rights. And so I think all of us here in Fresno admire your leadership. We have, as you know, a strong Persian community here in Fresno, and many of those I call my friends. So just wanted to say congratulations to you, Your Majesty, and happy birthday to you today on this memorable day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really very much touched.
Yeah, this is Council President Chavez. Just want to wish you also a happy birthday, Your Majesty, and thank you for being here. I know you're a little bit ahead on our time zone, and so we want to thank you for making the time. I want to thank my colleague, Councilmember Karbasi, for bringing this and making Fresno an international site today. But I think that just says a lot about our city and how once we achieve that big city status, we welcome our beautiful diversity, our mosaic of immigrants in this community, and everybody knows that our Persian community here is very important, and so I think this is a perfect opportunity to celebrate that within our city.
Can I?
Yes.
So, Your Majesty, I just also want to say happy birthday. And for me, every time that we get to celebrate diversity in our city, it's a great day in the city of Fresno, because we wouldn't be the city that we are if it wasn't for the diversity. But what excites me too as well this morning is to see women in leadership, because as you see on this dais, there's very few of us. And so I'm proud to see you as a leader. I'm also proud to see Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio, also a woman leader at the state level. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Councilmember Soria. Any other colleagues?
Thank you very much. I have to thank you very much. I'm really deeply touched that now in Paris, I'm hearing you from the other part of the world thinking of me. I'm really very deeply touched.
Your Majesty, before we close, in honor of your birthday and in honor of the many, many years of service, not only to the people of Iran, but the allyship you provided to the United States of America, the city of Fresno, I think this is a first for any government or any country. We are going, and I want to thank the city manager, Tommy Escueda, for helping me with this. We are going to be flying your imperial standard. It's very large, forgive me. But we're going to be flying this at City Hall, on city property, I believe tomorrow, starting tomorrow for a few days. So thank you so much for everything you've done for me personally, but more for the example you've set for me to follow. You're a wonderful human being, and I don't know what else to say to you, but thank you.
Do I have time to say a few words? Because Mr. Karbasi, when I spoke to him, spoke of Yosemite National Park. I wanted to tell him that he mentioned His late Majesty, but I was also there. And I never forget the fantastic vegetation and trees, and also Dr. Phyllis Ackerman, who had arranged that hotel, who was the wife of Professor Arthur Upham Pope, who was in Iran, and he wrote many books, and he studied about the history of Iran, and we were always very proud of him. And Mrs. Ackerman, she passed away in Iran, and she loved Iran, and she wanted to be buried near the Khaju Bridge. Khaju is an old bridge in the city of Isfahan, and I wanted to say that. And also really grateful that you're thinking of me today. It's a great, really present for me. I'm very much touched, and I hope I will deserve what you told me. I continue to do what I have done, which was positive during all these years. And to my compatriots, now Iranian Americans, to just say a few words in Persian. امیدوارم که همیشه سلامت و موفق و خوشبخت باشید. I told them that I wish that you will be healthy, happy, and successful in their life. Thank you again very much. And what can I say?
You've made me very proud, once again, Your Majesty. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And what a beautiful English American Mr. Karbasi speaks now, without accent.
فارسی هم حرف میزنم ولی وقتی فارسی حرف میزنم I have an accent as well, so. No, thank you so much, Your Highness.